Hello on this Good Friday. Financial Chick coming to you live very soon. Unfortunately, my laptop's not working, so I'm on the phone. So the judgy ones out there, yes, the numbers are going to be backwards on the billboard here. But I'm sure there's a way to fix it, but I don't know how to do that. So the show must go on, as they say. So we're going to get this party started for real soon. And I don't know what happened to my laptop, but that's all we got going on. All right then. Okay. How many?
60.
Okay. Our clocks are different. Oh, no, it's the same now. Never mind. All good. Just doing a time check. Told you. It's a crazy day, crazy week, crazy world, whatever.
37. 15 seconds.
Okay, thank you. Hope we're doing well out there. Here we go. Hello, and thank you for joining me today on this Good Friday. You are listening to The Financial Chick Show. I am your host, Denise Nostrom, CEO and owner of Diversified Financial Solutions, a full-service independent financial planning firm located in Medford. I'm here live every Friday from 5:30 p.m. to 6 p.m. on 103.9 LI News Radio. Your Financial Chick is here to help you make better financial decisions and choices to improve your life and reduce your anxiety and stress about money. If you have any questions on anything we discuss here on the air, check out my website at financialchickshow.com or call my office at 631-758-8691. You can also find us on Facebook and Instagram at Diversified Financial Solutions. So, listen, it's been an interesting time. It's been an interesting week. I hope you're doing well and made it through the week unscathed. I know a lot of you had off today for Good Friday, and some of you are starting your spring break, teachers and students and all of that. But yeah, it was quite the week, wasn't it? So very interesting. On Tuesday, our former president, Donald Trump, was indicted. I know everyone has an opinion on this, and I'm going to give you mine. Our current president and his son have quite the list of things that have surfaced and been documented that are really scary for the United States and his presidency. We had a balloon going off over the country, and it's been detailed that, it was, we know it was a Chinese balloon, but they've taken a lot of pictures and things of our naval bases or army bases, and so that's kind of scary. And, a lot of dealings and, how a son of a president who is a drug addict or is a drug addict, I don't know, can afford $1 million house. So there's a lot of question marks. And I guess, I decided to start a how many days till Biden's out of office countdown. So just so we all can be on the same sheet of music, it's 578 days until the election and 654 days until Inauguration Day. So to kind of go back, so yes, on Tuesday, Trump surrendered and came to New York City. I guess the most insane part of this story is that the money that's being spent alone on security, just knowing a few police officers and stuff like that, and what they said the costs were astounding, and not to mention the cost for the legal proceedings and everything. And who's going to pay for that? Of course, us. New York City. The country. I mean, it's just going to really kind of trickle down. So it's a little bit ridiculous. They continue to try to take him down, even though he's not president anymore. But even when he was president, they continued to fall short on that. This quote payoff, quote to a porn star, is really calling the pot black, isn't it? So, I mean, sadly, this stuff has been going on in politics for a really long time. John F. Kennedy, Bill Clinton, Anthony Weiner, Gary Condon. Oh God, I can't think of the other guy. But there's so many, actually. But I'm sure some of these names ring a bell. There is actually, if you go online, there's a chronological list of congressional sex scandals. Now, that's only the Congress. And it actually starts back in 1850, which is just mind-boggling. But again, not that I'm saying it's right or wrong or okay. I don't think it's good anyway, but unfortunately, we either take down everyone or we just feel that it's something that goes around. But somehow, some way, this kind of feels like a witch hunt to me. I guess only time will tell. And it just seems like, man, I don't know what's up with you guys, man. You can't keep it real, I guess. We haven't had a woman president yet, but I guess that hopefully it'll come soon. Hopefully do better than what the vice president is today, if we get a woman president. But, hopefully these things won't happen if a woman's in charge. But I guess, again, with that too, only time will tell. It does take two, doesn't it? But I guess really the bottom line, I just wish that all the money that's being spent that being spent on all of these weird, wild, crazy things would go to serious problems like the crime issue that's happening here in New York and across the country. Human trafficking, which is, something that a lot of people are not talking about, but it's a pretty big issue. And if we want to be concerned about people, that's a big issue. Fentanyl, killing people left and right. Children being hungry, homelessness. There's a lot of wasted money, and yet so many issues for the American people are still here. I mean, just the one thing that just came out this week was that Social Security cuts could be coming very, very soon. So basically, the Social Security program is expected to run dry within a decade. So that's not a long time from now. A decade is 10 years. And again, as a result of the slower economy, but also, there's a lot of people that are retiring earlier. There's a lot of people that are not working. We need to have people working to put into the system. So there's just a malaise really in the country. And, I think we're just, again, we don't have unlimited resources. We don't have unlimited time. None of us, whether we're in the politics, personal or families or whatever the case may be. I think we need to vet and we need to take a look at the situation. Someone has to be an adult in the room and take care of some of things that really need to be done, really to be taken care of. So if these politicians that are supposedly for the people are really looking to help the people, then they should do things to do so. Okay, that's my soapbox today. I'm going to move on from there. But just on another note, on Wednesday, it was my birthday. So it was a crazy busy day at work, but I was able to go out to dinner with my husband and my daughter to Patricia's in Hauppauge. First time there, and it was great. I've always seen people go there, and it looked like a really good time. So it was nice. We had good food and good service, which again, we've come to a place in society where we just expect things to be subpar. But I have to say, I mean, everybody that came to our table was very nice and cordial and smiled, and it was just nice to see that because you really don't see that much anymore. So go Patricia's, very, very good. And one thing that they do to make you feel very special for your birthday, I won't tell you what that is unless you might have seen it online, or maybe you've been there for your birthday, but it was really a nice surprise. And so I had a really good night and a good birthday this year. So yesterday actually was my grandpa's birthday. Now he's been gone for quite some time, but he would have been 103, which I just can't even believe. He sadly died at a young age, at 64. I think he was retired a year and only got I don't even know, maybe 6 months to a year of Social Security. And it was just a sad story. But he worked for the MTA, the subway system of New York City, and he contracted emphysema. I'm sure with the advances in medicines today that he probably would have lived a much longer life. So I miss him so much. And many years ago, I was his gift when I was born. So I was born the day before his birthday. So we're also in the week of Passover. Passover has started, and today, like I said, is Good Friday. The stock market is closed on Good Friday every year. And it's actually one of my favorite days because I have off because the market's closed. So it's one day I can actually close the office, but where most places are still open. So I can actually go to the bank or I can go to the post office. So it's rare because the stock market and the bond markets are usually only closed several times a year. So, and you know, what's nice about this holiday too, it's usually near my birthday. And which is nice. So that's a good thing. Unfortunately, I mean, my day today, I was kind of lazy. I made it here live to the studio, but I probably could have done a whole lot more than I did. But I've been working like a crazy person. So yeah, it's been really wild. It's been an interesting tax season. You know, people are, I don't know what's happening with the Postal Service, but a lot of people aren't getting their tax forms unless people are losing them in their houses. People are shocked getting tax forms, not realizing money that they took out last year is actually taxable in the following year, which would be this year. So it's been pretty interesting. But the call volume has been pretty heavy duty. But like I said, it is the Holy Week for Christians, and this ends the 40 days of the Lenten season and begins a 3-day observance of the crucifixion of Jesus. So on Easter, on Sunday, Christ, Jesus will rise again. And, it's something, whether you're Christian or you're not, there's a message to this whole story. It was whether you feel it's real or it's a story, it was a gentleman that sacrifices life for others. And I think we've become a self-centered and self-serving society lately where people are not caring about others. And I think we need to get that back in this country for us to prosper. And again, you don't need to be religious, but, it's just really just being human. And I feel like I'm probably preaching to the choir here to my listeners, but let's all try to, be a little bit nicer and really enjoy the season. So this is the financial chick, Denise Nostrom. The company is Diversified Financial Solutions. I help you look for financial solutions when you feel like there are none. So feel free to contact me at financialchickshow.com or call me at 631-758-8691. We are moving on to the break, but stay tuned and we'll be back. How is everybody doing? Who do we have here? Jay. Hey, Jay. Hi, Sal. Hey, Tony. Thank you for stopping by today. I appreciate it. Crazy week, but we have a nice holiday weekend. I hope everybody's going to enjoy and spend some time with family and friends. Looking to just relax and enjoy. So little grim today as far as the weather. Again, can't buy the sun. We got people coming in here from the airport. And busy week, spring break. I have a lot of stories. I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. I'll talk fast. No, I'm just kidding. What's that? 60 seconds. Got it. Thank you. All right, we're almost back on live. Okay, thank you. 30 seconds. Long 30 seconds. Welcome back. This is Denise Snowstrom, the Financial Chick. My company's in Medford, and you can reach me at 631-758-8691 or visit my website at financialchickshow.com. I'm here to help you on your financial journey. Over the years, things change, and I'm here to help you navigate all of those changes. And boy, are there changes lately. I don't know, it seems like there's changes hourly. There's some days that I do feel like, I don't know, it's been crazy. But you know, life has been challenging for most of us. I can kind of get the feel of what's going on, you know, with people and just the vibe of what's happening out there just by the calls that I get during the day. You know, the stories, I don't know, I'm finding it hard to find some good stories. One thing that's in the air, obviously, is change. And like I just said, things are changing. You know, I have clients that are struggling with cancer, getting divorced. They have parents with the start of dementia or have Alzheimer's. My job as a financial advisor is to help you when you feel weak. I think everyone needs an advocate to be in their corner. It's challenging to have to care for loved ones when they're sick or having problems. So having someone to be there to discuss your finances or just to bounce an idea off is a good thing. So if you work with the right financial professional, they want you to do the right thing, and they love to see you succeed. And that's certainly something that I've always is super important to me. I mean, I've been in practice since 1996. I can't believe it's going to be 27 years next month. And, you know, my clients have become not only my clients, but they're friends, and some of them feel I'm part of their family, which is like an amazing thing. You know, so it's really trying to help you, again, navigate those changes, the things that are going on. So here are a few of the calls that I had this week that have come into the office, which are tending to concern me just a little bit. It appears that the faulty economy and the high inflation is really starting to take a toll on people. In an average week, we go to work, we make money, we pay our bills. Unfortunately, life happens, and there are times when things happen that are not good things. Either your car breaks down, you have a broken pipe in your house, or your child comes to you needing money. This will happen, and it's how you respond that will decide what your future is or how things are going to play out. So I get a call from a client this week, and she moved to South Carolina from Long Island in hopes to have a better life and a cheaper cost of living. She said that the move was not what she had expected. She realized that the cost of living happened to be pretty similar to Long Island. She said really the only thing that, you know, she doesn't own a home, she's renting at this point, but she said that's probably the only thing that she saw from her perspective. Now, again, everybody has their different perspectives, but from her perspective is that real estate taxes are lower, which is interesting for people that are fleeing. You have to really do your research and think about this stuff. So anyway, so she says she's having some problems. She had built up some credit card debt and had to help a family member. Her call was to request a large sum of money from her portfolio. Her only source of income is Social Security because she's retired now. So to meet all of her needs, she needs to take money monthly from her portfolio. So I explained to her that she needs to be a bit careful because once the portfolio is gone, she will no longer be able to take any additional income from said portfolio. So she takes these large lump sums. She's done this several times, unfortunately, over the past few years, and always says this will be the last time. But guess what? It's not. It tends to happen over and over again. So I told her, you know, I had to give her a wake-up call, and I said, you know, listen, you know, who's going to be there? And maybe there will be people, but I said, who's going to be there when you need help? And she just kind of sighed. And I said, it's not that we don't want to help other people, but when one's struggling already, it's actually unfair for others to ask. So sometimes it's just having that conversation with people. We all want to do what's good, right in our heart and feel what's right, but you know, sometimes to the detriment of ourselves. And as your financial advisor, that's something that I try to help you do. Again, I mean, if you know me, I'm real. I'm going to tell you how it is. Listen, in the end, it's your money. You got to do what you think is right and do what's best for you. But sometimes it's trying to save you from yourself. You know, when you think about it, this particular person was retired. I don't know who the person was that she helped, but if that person that she helped is still working, well, maybe they can recoup and get themselves back on track. She won't have that opportunity unless she goes back to work. And she's of an age where that probably is not something that she can do. So it's just having the conversation. Sometimes we need people to talk to. And she is single. She doesn't have any children. So I'm here to kind of help her when maybe she needs that help or needs someone to talk to about things. So I got another call, which was very similar in the fact that a client's child had run up a lot of credit card debt. And with the annual percentage rates on credit cards right now, because rates have gone up, they wanted to borrow money from the parent to pay off their credit card debt. So, it's always a good idea to do some research before taking money from your accounts, because there could be some unintended consequences like penalties, loss of interest on the investment, or worst of all, taxes. So like I said, people tend to forget, we look at the immediate moment, this is what I need to do, I've got to do this. And then of course, the next year comes, let's say it's 2023, 2024 comes, and then they get this tax report and they have to show it to their accountant, and now they have all this money to pay, and they're like, oh, I didn't know that was going to happen. So again, part of my job as a financial advisor is to say, okay, yes, you can do this, but let me tell you what's going to happen. So you have the expectations, and sometimes that makes the decision a little bit easier, or makes the what you're going to do or what you're not going to do, just you have a better path to that. So this client and I had that discussion, and we looked for the best way for the client to help their child, but not hurt themselves in the process. So again, what sometimes when a client gives me a call in the office, what they think they want to do may not be the best place to take the money or the best recommendation. There may be a better alternative for them. Again, it's the unintended consequences that usually get us all the time. A lot of people will leave a job, and then they're like, just forget it. I'm just going to take my IRA. I'm not going to roll it over. And then they don't realize that they're going to get penalized, that they're going to get a 20% penalty. They're going to be taxed, and they're on the federal and state level. And then in many cases, they're going to lose sometimes up to 50% of that money. Now, again, there are circumstances where I even would say, well, you know what, just go ahead and do that because of where you are at this point. You're not working. That might be a good idea. But for most people, it's not a good idea. If you jumped into another job, it's best to roll that over. And it's good to roll it over too, because especially if you're changing jobs in a lot, maybe over every couple of years, you don't want to leave those 401ks at various companies and lose them. Those are all that money that's, I just read, I don't remember how much it is, but New York State has a lot of unclaimed funds. I mean, it's in the I want to say billions, I think it was. Don't quote me on that, but it was a lot of money. So it's these types of accounts that people just forget, or they forget they have a savings account or a checking account. That's something as a financial advisor, what I do, we pull together everything. And it's very interesting when I do a financial plan for people and we gather all of their assets. Typically, they never give me everything the first time. Maybe it's intentionally, maybe it's not. But people remember, oh man, I have these savings bonds, or I have this IRA, or I have this old 401k at this job. And we'll do that research and get all that information together. So know where you work hard for your money, right? You want to know where it all is and pull it all together. So that's an important thing. So I'm reading this book, and I know and I might have said this on my last show, but I'm reading Will Smith's book. My husband bought this for Christmas for me a couple of Christmases ago, and this is before he had his whole smack with Chris Rock and all that. But I have to say the book is really good, and he's got a lot of good points. So I'm just going to read you something that I thought was pretty interesting. That we all have to contend with the natural processes of destruction. Everything is impermanent. Your body's going to get old. Your best friend's going to graduate and move to another city. He was talking about his girlfriend, that the tree that you used to climb in front of his girlfriend's house is going to crash down in a storm. Your parents are going to die. Everything changes. It rises and it falls. Nothing and no one is immune to the entropy of the universe. That is why self-destruction is such a terrible crime. It's hard enough as it is to live, right? And it's so true. So sometimes self-destruction is doing things that you really shouldn't do just because you feel there's immediate gratification and you need to do this, whether you're helping somebody or like, I've got to buy this or I've got to do something. Listen, immediate gratification can sometimes produce long-term sadness or despair. So it's important to be informed and have a handle on your situation. If you don't, it may be time to do so. So I want to thank you all for being with me today. I know it's the start of the holiday weekend. I hope everyone has a beautiful Passover and Easter. We made it to spring, and I'm like I'm not a big fan of winter. Spring and summer is my jam, and I haven't really talked about it yet on the show. So it is spring, so let's enjoy it. Thank you to Anthony, my engineer, for working with me with the show. And remember, let's do better and be better. Take care and be well. And I'll see you next week. All right, and that's a wrap. Thank you. I see a few more people on here. Ellen, how are you? And Pat, how you doing? Thanks for taking time, spending some time with me. Well, that's a wrap, and the week is over. I hope everybody enjoys their holiday, whatever you're celebrating, whether it be Passover or Easter. And I will talk to you all soon, and I'll see you on the air next week. Take care.